This is J. Krishnamurti's first discussion with students in Malibu, California, 1968.
Don't you think we ought to be somewhat clear what the intention of this little group is, what we intend to do, and how serious it is, and for how long a period we're going to continue with this particular group. Shall we talk about that a little bit at first and then get on to other things? You see, we've had such groups all over the world. For several weeks. But somehow I feel they don't at the end of it, nothing but a repetition of what the speaker has said. They've become very clever at quoting the speaker and trying to fix him in a pigeonhole and say, this what you said, this what you didn't say, but what do you mean by this and that? And therefore it seems to me that kind of a discussion or exploration becomes rather futile. So could we, in these weeks to come, could we discover things for ourselves rather than quote the speaker? Could we be sufficiently serious to investigate and think, act, feel originally, that is for ourselves, not compare, not judge, not say this what you did and said and all the rest of it. Could we do that? So that each one of us, at the end of this period of this discussion, says, well, this is what I've got. It is my own, it's my original, it's mine. Not personal in the sense mine, but it is something I have, it is true. This is the way I live, this way I'm going to live, this is the real thing. Not second-hand affair. Could we do that? Because most of us, unfortunately, this is not said in any sense derogatorily, are second-hand people. We always repeat or say this is what we have read, this is what we have heard, I haven't gone very far into it, somehow I feel I'm incapable, I have problems which I can't resolve, and so on, so on. At the end of it, we remain where we started. So could we start as though we absolutely know nothing and we're going to find out? Would that kind of discussion be valid? We know a great deal anyhow, but when I say we don't know, I mean not quote anybody, not repeat what somebody has said. State something that is original for ourselves. and start from there. Could we do that? So that at the end of the journey we can say we are authentic people, not washed out second-hand group. Would that kind of discussion be worthwhile? Start with that. What do you say, sirs? So where shall we start? What's the beginning of it? Because if we are going to be serious, we ought to meet regularly, twice a week, Saturday and Sunday, as we've arranged, and really give our time, heart, mind, everything that we have to go into it. So what is the beginning of this? I know where I would like to start. I know where I would like to begin, and from there start everything rolling. I know for myself, but I don't know how you want to go into this, how you want to begin. And please, we are not trying to impose something on you, convince you of anything. How to meditate, not to meditate, believe, not believe, do act or not act, nothing of that kind. So that we can discuss and go into it very deeply with complete freedom. Not do propaganda. You are not trying to convince me, I'm not trying to convince you. Shall we start with problems? Problems one may have in oneself or in relationship, or problems in relationship to society. With any problem, shall we start with problems and try to resolve them, or try to explore the problem and thereby uncover the answer in the problem? Or shall we start not with problems at all, but how to sharpen the mind and the heart to look at a problem? Or start which may be rather difficult, start from an unexplored state. Am I saying this? Start from something we don't know. Am I being cuckoo? Say, for instance, personally, I'm tremendously interested in meditation. Not how to meditate, because we'll go into that if we begin there. But a mind that is meditative. A mind that, having touched all the problems, sex, relationship to society, what to do, how to earn a livelihood, personal, tendency, all that, seeing all that, to leave them alone and try to find out how to go through them all freely, with such ease, without effort and so on. I wonder if I'm making myself clear. Which would you like, please? I'm talking. No, sorry, I'll stop. Where shall we begin these discussions?
You said three things. You said meditation. You said to start from the unknown. You said to start from the problem.
That's right.
You said to brush through the problems.
Yes.
Probably all those are the same things.
Wouldn't the approach to the problem be the start? How to sharpen? You said to sharpen your mind, to see the problem to begin with.
Let's explore. So, which would you like to begin with? Here we are.
Yeah, I would like to start with
Here we are, a group of people. Like those people who, in the intellectual tanks, meet. They all think. And together they produce something. Here we are, a group of people involved in life, with the understanding of life, not committed to any organization, right? Not to any belief, not to any church, not to follow, obey any leader, guru. And here are people, those of us here, say, look, we want to understand this whole thing, existence, what is involved in it, what is pain, sorrow, anxiety, fear, love, God, if there is no God, the whole thing. I wonder, what do you say?
Don't we have to start from the unknown, sir?
That's one of the most difficult. How can you start? You see, how will you start from the unknown? I said it. How do you mean by? What do you mean by unknown?
Complete stillness. No images.
Can one, is that just a word, no images? Actually no image?
I don't know if it's possible, but it's something.
Then it's a supposition. You're starting with a supposition, not with fact. Can a mind be free from every image, which means no conclusion, no formula, no image between you and your husband and child or your wife. Is that possible? No. So please, let us, I don't know if you want to.
Is that where part of the problem comes in?
Beg pardon?
That's where the problem comes
Yes,
in.
that's it.
How to separate yourself from these things.
So I would like, let's find out what we want to discuss, how deeply we want to discuss, and how seriously. Because unless we discuss very, very seriously, it isn't worth meeting. Right?
Yes.
And if we are serious, we have to completely expose ourselves. Not group therapy of the analysts, but be clear in ourselves that we're going to expose, to find out. You need not necessarily tell another, but to be willing to be exposed to oneself. Which doesn't mean that we're going to confess it to each other, which would be terrible.
Do we start from an examination of the images we have?
I don't know, sir. You tell me.
Don't we have to learn how to examine first before we can examine anything?
I think
A
so.
problem or an image or anything. We have to get the mind observing the right way.
Perhaps it's just recognizing what an image is.
So, what is it you want to do? Here we are, 13 of us, or whatever number we are. Here we are. What is it we want to do?
Perhaps just to engage in conversation.
What about?
I don't think it matters too much about. Simply to
Converse.
To converse in some manner about perhaps anything. And to start to recognize the elements of what we're going to say, like images of it. And perhaps even the honesty of the issues. Like, perhaps some
Couldn't you do it at home with your friend?
probably.
Then why come here? I'm not being impudent, sir, you understand?
I don't think there's perhaps a real reason to come here, other than the fact that perhaps this group of people is more concerned about perhaps the stimulation from the ideas that are floating about would serve more as a vehicle for insight, that a spark will come through. It's sort of, I suspect in a way my feeling is that the emanations of a person who perhaps sees more than you can act as a stimulus for yourself. I suspect certainly can ask questions. Perhaps many people here can. That would serve as a point of departure. One, which is questions that you may not get from just anyone.
Could we begin, sir, from what you say, to find out how to look? Not how to question, or what the question is, or to converse, but how to learn, let's put it that way.
Yes, I think so.
Would that be worthwhile? What is learning?
Yeah, I think that'd be
and from there move, explore. Could we do that? Would that be...
That sounds good.
Beg pardon?
That sounds good.
Would you all, I mean, if you have something
I
else...
agree with that. I mean, because I don't know how to approach anyway. So I need to be
You would
able to
like...
learn.
Yeah. So shall we start with that? May I also sit on the floor?
Please.
As long as you sit reasonably near to the microphone.
Is that... Huh?
As long as you would sit reasonably near to the microphone.
Yeah, I will have this. Is this one? Shall we begin? What is necessary to learn? And what about?
Facts.
Wait, sir. To learn, what does it mean to learn? To learn a language. To learn about anything, what is implied in learning?
Understanding.
No, so you go into it, sir.
Exploration.
No, look, to learn, what does it mean? I like to really...
Be receptive.
To recognize. All those.
What is the state of the mind that learns, not about something, but the actual mind that is willing to learn?
Must be empty or receptive.
What do you say, sir?
Clarity.
No, sir, no. Little before, go into it, sir. Into yourself. Find out what it means to learn. Not about something, but the mind that says, I want to learn.
It's a total comprehension of a situation, an issue.
That comes up. But learning, sir, what does it mean to learn? I don't know, say for instance, German.
Sorry.
I don't know how to speak German.
No.
So I have to learn. I have to accumulate words, verbs, and the whole business of it. I have to spend some time, perhaps 2 or 3 months or more. And then after accumulating a lot of words and all the rest, and I am capable of speaking. But before I begin to learn, what is the state of the mind that says, I'm willing, I want to learn? I don't know if I'm making myself clear.
There's desire, isn't there? Desire when you want to learn. When I want to learn, you want to.
Is it desire?
Is it ignorance?
Interest.
Huh?
Ignorance, you don't know something. You recognize that you don't know something.
I want to add something to what I have. Add something to what I have.
If I add something to what I already know, is that learning?
No.
I'm not.
Now I know.
I'm just.
I see it.
Is learning an accumulation of knowledge?
No, it's a different way of looking at
And no, I'm only talking learning, sir. Not how to look.
No, the accumulation of knowledge is the product of learning.
Is it? I don't know how to drive. And I practice, be taught. And then at the end of it, I say, I know how to drive. This whole process is called learning, isn't it?
In a sense,
yes. Yes. And I'm questioning if that is learning.
Well, that's a semantical. There's...
No, a little more than that. Is that learning? That you say that's part of it. Huh? That is, I have accumulated knowledge, and from that knowledge I act.
I think you've trained yourself.
Yes, trained myself to drive,
Yes.
and this training is what I call learning.
It could be.
Huh? And I am asking myself if it is learning. That's what we have said, that's learning.
It's one of the processes of learning.
It's really just conditioning, isn't it?
I don't know, sir.
Studying
let's all join this, not two of us.
Studying German would be conditioning oneself to a different set of symbols.
Just like driving.
Just
Conditioning
like
yourself
driving.
to turning the lights and what to do. So you don't really have to think. And either one of us, to use the language, it becomes automatic. To drive, it becomes automatic. It's a substitute for thinking in a way.
Look, sir, I want to learn about myself.
Ah, well.
I mean, look at
Where's
it.
the training ground there?
Just see the difficulty comes in. I want to learn about myself. And in learning about myself, I find certain things. And after studying, analyzing, looking, I have certain knowledge of myself. And from that knowledge, I learn more. Is that learning about myself?
That's exploring.
No, sir, do go into it a little bit.
Adding.
Yeah, adding. Is
Therefore-
addition learning?
Therefore, it is the known which is acting. What has already been learnt dictates what will be learnt afterwards. I look at myself, I find I'm angry, violent. And I analyze it and come to certain conclusions, certain information, certain knowledge, certain experience. And from that, I learn more, which is to add to what I already know. This is what we call learning. And I say, is that learning? Adding to what already you know more and more and more. Will that help me to understand myself? Or must I look at myself each time anew? It's only when I can look at myself anew, I'm learning about myself. I don't know. Wait, go slowly, sir, go slowly. Can I look at myself afresh each time? Because myself is changing, I'm changing. There's a variety of influences, stresses, strains, and all the rest of it. And there's a change in me, and I look at myself with something which I already have learned.
Then you're prejudiced.
Prejudice, and with those prejudices I look. And I can't learn about myself.
No.
So I can only learn about myself when there is no accumulative process going on. Now, sir, see how difficult it is, don't you?
So here we are, we want to learn. Learn about ourselves. Let's take that for the moment. Is my mind capable of never accumulating and looking without accumulation?
I think that's possible, but I don't know how to get it.
Nothing is possible.
Well, I think that's possible.
Don't even, how can you say it's possible?
Because I've been there.
No, madam, then it is not, once you have been there, it's not, no, it just becomes a memory.
No, because I've forgotten it.
Look, what is,
I've forgotten the state.
can I learn about myself, look at myself, who is a living thing, with fresh eyes? Eyes that have no image, no conclusion, that say, oh, this is right, this is wrong. Which can look without the word, the symbol, the idea, the thought. Otherwise I don't learn. Huh? I don't know if you... Am I saying something absurd? And when I do look at myself with clear eyes which have not been contaminated, is there something to look at? I don't know. Right?
Do you mean through the eyes you're looking at what you're seeing?
Yes, eyes not only, I mean, not the visual eyes.
The abstract eyes.
And no, eyes that see things very, very clearly, without confusion.
Aren't we afraid that we avoid that?
We're going to find out, sir. So first let's begin. Not, this is a very difficult thing to what we're talking about, to actually to do. But so shall we begin to find out what it means to learn? Can we go back to that? What it means to learn. Not about something, but the actual state of a mind, mature mind as we are, somewhat mature mind, says, I want to learn about myself. Because myself is the whole world, right? Myself is the society. The society is me. The morality of society is my morality. I have made the social morality. I have made the social God, the politician, the hunger, the war, the division between black and white, the nationalistic separation. I am responsible. You follow what I mean? Of course, this is, I don't know if you accept all this.
I do.
Yes, but one has to go much more deeply. It's not verbal assessment and acceptance of the assessment, but I am that. I am the whole of the past of man. Right? my brain, my attitudes, my activities, the way I think, the way I look at the past. I am that. Now can I learn about it, which is myself? Would that be all right, sir? Can we go on with this? Would this interest you?
Yes.
So, how do I learn about myself? Therefore, I must first find out what it means to learn.
I want to make sure I'm with you.
Yes, sir.
If I am the whole of the past of man.
Not if. See the difficulty, sir. No, see the difficulty. You can't say if. Then it's merely supposition. Either you say, look, I am responsible for everything that's happening in the world. The Vietnam War, the starvation in the East, the brutality of man, the whole thing I'm responsible. Because man is me. I don't know if you feel all this, you see.
You have to feel the pain and suffering
And
that's going on.
not only that, you have to see the fact of it.
The difficulty is that with me, I don't want to feel that pain. It's like it's easy to put it aside.
I know.
It's
We're not
outside
feeling
of me.
sir, we're not. Then you're translating what you see, what you observe in terms of like and dislike, pain and pleasure. Huh? We're not saying that. It's like saying microphone. It's a fact. I am that.
Okay, but that does something inside of me.
Then it's a verbal perception of that and not the fact of it. I don't know.
In other words, guilt does not play a part of it.
It's not a guilt. There is no guilt. There is no saying, oh my God, what I'm going to do. It's, I am that. Look, sir, the war is going on in Vietnam. To stop it, or if I'm a pacifist, I say I won't kill. But I buy a stamp or go to the market and do shopping. And each cent I spent on the buying things, I'm supporting war. So I'm responsible.
I pay my taxes.
Taxes, whatever you do, you are responsible for this. It isn't that you feel guilty or horrified, but it's a fact. I've got cancer. That's a fact. I mightn't like it or say, well, thank God it's come and I'll finish my life, but it's a fact. I don't know if you... So there is no horror or guilt or fear of it, but seeing what a fact, you know what I mean? It's a fact. How can you object to fact? So I'm all, I don't know if you, can we start with this? Probably you don't accept all this, you see. All right, we won't even say that. Here I am, I want to know about myself. For a simple reason, everything revolves around me. There may be moons and people going up to the moon and there is all the rest of it. But I am very important to myself. My security, my love, my wife, my children, my family, my God, my struggle, my pain. There is me. I want to learn about myself. Because I feel if I could understand myself completely, I may be able to find out how to live properly. How to live without conflict, how to love, what it means loving, what it means dying. The whole thing I can learn, find out. So I want to know, I want to learn about myself. Would that be all right? Shall we start? So before I look at myself, I must know what it means to learn. Right, sir? Huh? Can you do that? What does it mean to learn? Is learning a matter of accumulation? Accumulation becomes, whether it is of yesterday or 10 million, is the past. Right? So am I looking at myself with the eyes of the past? Right? Right, sir? Therefore am I learning? I don't know.
No, you're prejudiced.
Therefore what? What am I to do? Then what is learning?
Must be the facts. You have to get to those.
Experience.
No, do go into it, madam. Don't just, if I may say, just throw out words, but just find out what it means to learn. See what is implied in generally when we say I'm learning about myself. I want to learn about myself. What does it mean generally? I observe myself, and this observation of myself is an accumulative process, or I look at it with judgment. Evaluation, right? Which is, I evaluate myself. The evaluation process is the past. I say this is right, this is wrong, this is happiness, this is good, this is bad. I wish it were. You follow? It's all from the past. And with the eyes of time, I look at myself. I don't know if you're following on that. Right, sir? With my prejudice eyes, I am going to learn about myself. My God, look how absurd it becomes. So can I look at myself without any prejudice? Otherwise I can't learn about myself. Right? Can I do this? Not intellectually think I can do it, but actually look at myself, whatever I am, with eyes that have not a slightest prejudice, slightest condemnation or judgment. Right, sir? Can I do it? Can you do it?
I'm fine.
I do it now, not will. Then there's no time. You can't go home and say, I'm going to learn about it.
I can't do it as I am.
Therefore, why not, sir? I see the fact, the truth, that I can't look at myself, understand myself, if the mind is prejudiced in any way. Right? That's a fact. I can't get beyond that fact. So can I be free of prejudice? Otherwise I can't learn about myself.
I can say I am free of prejudice. I cannot say I can become free of prejudice.
Either one is or one is not. So here I am with whole series of prejudices, conditioned mind. I don't like Catholics, but I love Buddhists. Right? I dislike communists, but I love the capitalists. And so on and on. So that's my mind is heavily conditioned. And with that mind, I say to myself, I'm going to learn about myself. Right? And I say, look, how can you learn about yourself when you're blind? Right? So can my mind strip itself of all its conditioning?
Is there a way?
We first put the question. Otherwise I'm a second-hand human being.
Well, I believe anything is possible.
No, anything is not possible. Either, no, I won't go into it now. If it is impossible, then you can do something possible. Right?
We're not in a position to say, oh wait, whether something's possible or impossible.
That's just it. Don't say either.
When a thing is impossible, there's no problem.
At all. That's just it. No, don't let's get too involved in it yet, verbally. So here I am. I'm heavily conditioned. My mind is conditioned as an American. Or as a Hindu and all the rest of it. It's conditioned. And it says to itself, by Jove, I'm going to learn about myself. It can't. Then the next question is, can this mind, which is so heavily conditioned, uncondition itself? And is that possible? You follow, sir? Not to be anything.
I think it's possible. To me, it's
Therefore, how will you do it, sir? How will you first see the fact? The fact being, I want to learn about myself. I can't learn about myself if there is any form of prejudice. We'll call the whole thing prejudice. Now, I see the truth of it, the fact of it, that I can't learn if there is any form, any touch of prejudice.
In the learning. If there is any prejudice in the learning. But I can learn about prejudice.
Oh yes, you can, but you are learning about prejudice from a prejudice point of view.
If there's no prejudiced point of view, I can't learn about prejudice
That's
anyway.
just it.
Because there's no prejudice to learn
So
about.
therefore, go slowly. That's what's involved in all this.
But being prejudiced about things may not mean that I'm prejudiced about learning.
No, sir. No,
Because the
no,
prejudice isn't
no.
necessarily totally black or white.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, here I am. I want to learn about myself. That's the. I don't say about something. Here I am. I want to learn about myself. Because myself
Is conditioned.
is this whole world.
Yes.
Myself is the problem. Myself is in conflict, misery, sorrow, pain, anxiety, guilt, all the rest of it. I want to learn about it. And to learn about myself, I see the first step is to look at myself without any prejudice. I say, but Joe, I see the truth of it, and is that, I say, now what am I to do?
Is the prejudiced mind able to see the truth?
Oh yes.
Why?
And it's like, however blind I may be, if you point out some light, I see some light. I'm not totally blind.
Do we know what part of us is totally blind?
I don't. That would go in too much yet. I don't want to go into that. How deeply I'm blind, or how superficially I'm blind. I don't want to go into that, which is quite a different problem. It leads us somewhere else. We are just trying to find out what it means to learn. That's where, for the time being, we are concerned with that. And I see, to learn about myself, every form of prejudice will prevent it. Full stop. That's all I know. I have learnt that. Let's call that.
Every form of prejudice in the learning.
Huh?
Every form of prejudice in the learning.
Yes, every form of prejudice prevents me from learning about myself. Not about German language.
But I can be prejudiced and learn about the prejudice.
Wait, sir, don't complicate it yet.
But it's only when the prejudice enters the learning that learning is impossible.
Yes, but we are prejudiced. I like, I don't like, this is right, this is wrong, this is good, I'm guilty, I'm afraid. You follow? And 10 different things coming. So I say to myself, is it possible to learn first, and to learn there must be no prejudice? That's a fact. I see that very clearly. But I am prejudiced. So I can't learn about myself. Wait, sir, I'm going very slowly. I know what's implied. You've read too.
I haven't.
No, I really haven't.
No, I just go step by step. Let's go step by step. So what am I? How am I to uncondition myself, right?
Yes.
No, how am I to learn?
I began with that. I'm to learn. I want to learn about myself. To learn about myself, there must be freedom from prejudice. Now, I am full of prejudice. Full of it. And therefore I realize I can't learn myself.
I may be prejudiced about South Americans and still learn about botany.
No.
I'm prejudiced about botany that I can't learn about botany.
That's a different thing.
I must not be prejudiced about what I learn.
No, sir.
But
no, sir. Here, don't bring in botany. Don't bring.
Even if the thing is ugly, I can see it.
No, don't bring in botany. Please, here I am. I want to learn about myself. That is the one thing I won't budge now from that. Because that's the most important thing.
Well, you said that's everything.
I mean, that is the basis of everything.
Botany and science.
Everything. So I say, I cannot learn about myself, not about botany, about you, or about anybody else, unless the mind can look with clarity. And this clarity clarity is not there, there is confusion. And in that state of confusion, I can't learn about myself, full stop. There is nothing more than that. So then the question arises, how am I to free the mind? How is the mind to free itself from its conditioning, right?
Yes.
Can we start from there, sir?
Yes.
Right. Can we go together with this? Huh? We're all together in this? Now, do we take condition by condition?
They all work on the mind the same way.
So, what? What am I to do? Follow it, sir. Go slowly. Don't come to a conclusion yet. Then you're lost. You understand, sir?
We don't find an easy answer.
Yeah, don't do it.
Everything all conditioning acts on the mind.
So my mind is conditioned as yours. And is it possible to uncondition it? To uncondition it, I must examine, right? We go slowly, which means layer by layer, look at it, analyze it, inspect it. I'm conditioned as a Hindu. I'm conditioned in my youth I was conditioned as a Hindu. Later I was conditioned in Europe, in Italy, in France, you follow, as this and that, built a reputation. And so I'm all that. Am I going to uncover it bit by bit? And that will take time, right? May take all my life. And then by the end of it, I'm dead. Right? So there must be a way of uncovering the whole thing at a glance.
Yes.
I don't agree. See, sir, don't agree. Don't agree about this, because it's the most... Look at the difficulties of first see what is involved in this. All the analysts are concerned about this. That is, layer by layer. They examine what, when you're a little baby, whether your mother put you on the pot rightly, and so on and on and on and on, which becomes impossible. And so, how is the mind to strip it at a glance? Or must this process of analysis is inevitable? I don't know if you're following all this.
I definitely feel it.
Not definitely feel, so you must have reason behind it, you must have logic behind it.
I've
You
tried
must
most of my life analyzing it like an artichoke, pulling it leaf by leaf.
So, then, if you're going to tear leaf by leaf an artichoke, which we had this afternoon, then how will you do it? If that is wrong, non-factual, you follow? If that is not the truth, then what will you do?
Change the state of my mind.
Don't, sir, you're too quick, all of you. If analysis, introspection, the little by little process is not the way, which means you are going against the whole current of evolution. I don't know if you see. Huh? Right, sir? Bit by bit, progress.
You would
Time.
need as long as evolution itself.
Huh?
You would need as long as evolution itself.
Yes, quite perfectly
that
right.
supposes that evolution would stop at the same period while you're doing
While you're doing
Yes,
it, right.
In other words, this clarity must be reached relatively quickly.
The one involves time, doesn't it? Analytical process. And when you are analyzing, what is involved too in that? You must understand the nature of it, otherwise you'll be tripped. I analyze myself, and I've come to a conclusion. If there is no conclusion, I can't analyze. I don't know if you see that. Huh?
Would you mind? You say
Oh,
if
what
there's
did
no
I say?
conclusion, I analyze myself and I come to a conclusion. If there's no conclusion, I can't analyze.
Of course not.
Why, sir?
I analyze only from conclusion to conclusion.
Wouldn't the process of analysis be prejudice?
Huh? You see that?
Yes. Analysis is steps in conclusion.
Yeah, of course.
Innocent analysis.
Do understand what he said just now, sir. See the importance of it.
Now,
The essence of analyzing is to conclude endlessly.
You can't analyze without concluding first, or
Of course.
Serious.
Otherwise,
You stop
what-
analyzing if you didn't have a conclusion.
Of course. If you have no conclusion, how can you analyze?
You can't go on.
Well, conclusions are prejudices.
In examining in the artichoke simile, if you examine fact by fact, if you observe a string of facts in the process of analysis, is this different from what Alan just spoke of?
No.
It is different.
I said
That's
you.
not analysis. If you just look at each leaf of the artichoke, you're not analyzing anything.
Well, then we must, I think, be very precise about these terms.
I know what I mean.
They mean something quite different to everybody in this room.
So that's why I don't want to rush at it.
And analysis has to be directed.
Of course,
And those to direct it.
and then don't enter into that for the moment. Don't go into it yet. Let's consider what is involved in analysis before you reject it, because if you reject it really, completely, you are outside this whole psychological system of tradition, the idea of time, saying, well, I'll take time to understand, time to learn. You follow, sir?
Yes.
All that's involved in it. Progress, gradualness, eventually achieving a result. So, analysis is implied, isn't it? There is not only the analyzer and the thing analyzed. That is essential there, right? The analyzer has come to various conclusions. Freudian, Jungian, or his own, or the latest conclusion. The analyzer is the entity who has come to various conclusions. Right? And from those conclusions, he analyzes further. What he examines is translated according to what he has already learnt.
Which is what he's trying to examine, which is prejudice.
See the difficulty? So if I examine, analyze myself without going to any analyst, there are several things involved with it. My analysis must be tremendously accurate. Otherwise, any slight wrong analysis will bring a wrong conclusion, and the next analysis will be wrong also. I don't know. Right, sir?
But if you were to examine just fact by fact, one can also go on endlessly without any background, without building up a picture of a whole.
Of course, of course. So,
one can just keep endlessly.
Do I see the utter futility of analysis? My God, you know what you are saying? Which means really my eyes, which have accepted the traditional process of understanding myself, which is to analyze myself, taking time, guidance, following, obedience. You follow all that's involved in it. Am I going to suddenly say, well, all that's out? I can't.
Why can't?
Because I don't know what it means.
But why does one have to know what it means?
Huh? Wait, look, sir, look. I don't know. How can I reject it without knowing what it is? I can look at it the other way. I can
know when I'm analyzing. I know when I'm analyzing, and I can see the meaning of analyzing, and therefore I can stop. And therefore there's no analyzing.
No.
I've rejected
Yes,
it.
sir. But the whole structure of thought is based on analysis.
You can analyze a pudding, or you can analyze
Anything, yes.
anything else. That's perfectly sane.
Yes, perfectly
because
right.
the thing that you're analyzing is right there in the crucible, and it doesn't go out of the crucible.
No,
the crucible
no.
got a bottom.
Yeah.
So.
No, sir, when
right.
I am analyzing
language.
myself, not the crucible or the contents of the crucible, I am analyzing myself. And I see this endless process of it.
Yes, yes. Yes.
And the impossibility of it has pushed me out of it.
Yes.
I don't know if you see, I don't know.
That's clear.
It gives me now, the very perception of it has thrown me out. From there, I can analyze it. That's it. Now I don't mind being analyzed. From there, being thrown out, I can then look and say, look, how people are involved, what is involved in analysis. I don't know if you're following all this.
You're analyzing analysis.
Yes,
but you're
that's...
not analyzing yourself.
No.
Yes, correct. Because
So-
the analysis you're analyzing is a definite process, like the thing in the crucible,
Right, sir.
which is circumscribed,
Right.
and it can be defined.
Right. Yeah, I'm following all this, or is it too quick?
Yes.
So, we have been at this for years. You understand? So
I don't understand this. As soon as you see it, you jump out from it.
I understand. So when you see a danger, a precipice, when you actually see it, you jump out, don't you? You don't go on. Right? After having jumped, you can look. And say, look what's involved. You understand?
Or you come up against a snake.
Yeah.
Once you can say this,
And then you can look at the snake. And then you can look with very clear eyes. Because you're not frightened anymore. Right? And then you can examine the snake or the precipice very, very clearly.
Yeah.
If you're interested in it. To show to people, look what is involved in it. Don't be stupid. Don't go that way. It leads you nowhere. I don't know if...
This also answers something which you brought up at the beginning of the discussion. Because having come this far, we've learned something.
Yeah, that's just it.
And therefore it is possible to learn something, even if one is
That's just what I'm coming to.
contaminated.
Yes.
Because the contamination isn't total.
Don't.
We've learned something.
No, you have learned to look.
Yes.
Huh? Don't introduce any other factor, then you are lost.
When I see a precipice, I jump automatically. But when I see the futility of
Analysis. Futility of analysis. We'll stick to that for the moment.
Okay.
You understand,
I know
sir?
where I jump to. I see
And
that.
you jump, you're out of it.
I'm left with a void. Or left
No,
with
that's that you have come to a conclusion. You don't know. You say that is wrong. Analysis is wrong. That's wrong.
If there's a door painted on the wall, and you stop trying to open it, you don't say, now that I'm not trying to open the door painted on the wall, where do I jump to?
Or isn't it like waking up? You don't say, well, where will I wake up to? Or
No.
when I come out of sleep, where will I go? You're out of you're out of the...
But you see, sir, that's why unless one understands, perhaps verbally and intellectually, what is implied in analysis, just to intellectually examine what is implied. You know, you might say, well, I jump out of it, but may not be actually jumped out of it. Because the whole world is concerned in it. Which is step by step. Let's do everything step by step. Analyze, gradually progress. We have evolved from the apes, and we are going to evolve more. You follow? That is, you are admitting the whole time period. I need to learn from, as a child, I have to learn, and we are applying the same idea of learning to this. So I say perhaps the whole thing may be wrong. And I see it is wrong. So I won't analyze myself.
The trouble is, though, that when we grapple with a particular problem, we do not realize that we are actually trying to analyze ourselves. We might see this as a process. We might see that we cannot analyze ourselves in order to decondition ourselves totally. But perhaps we don't see that grappling with a particular problem
I
is
won't.
making the same mistake.
No, all problems are related.
Yes.
They are interrelated. There is no isolated
If I
problem.
grapple with one problem like...
I know. No, I won't grapple with... No.
This we don't see perhaps.
Then. Every problem is interrelated with the other problem. Sex problem or fear, this, all interrelated. Therefore, I can't take one problem, isolate it and try to understand it. Is this all getting too much at one afternoon? We've got several weeks ahead of us, so we can take it. Huh?
It seems that so much of this question of, like you said, Alan, of analysis comes up when you're talking about problems. That it's always a problem. That when you think of this as
I don't think of it as a problem.
no, but this is when you question yourself, when you look at yourself and ask yourself, can you analyze? It always relates to.
Yes, sir. Yes, quite right.
And he says, we walk out here and we still have a problem in the office.
No,
Which
maybe.
we then try to analyze.
Sir, look, sir, don't come into problems yet. I don't take problems yet. Yeah, no, wait, sir, go slowly. So I see very clearly that an analysis is not the way out. Analysis will not help me to understand myself. Right? I mean, do I actually see it? As I see the danger of precipice, danger of a snake, or poison, do I actually see this thing? Feel it, taste it, smell it. You follow what I mean? In my bones, I won't go near that stuff again. So when I when I see that wrong as being totally wrong, false, I'm outside society. No?
Please explain that.
No? And the whole world is concerned with evolution, step by step, gradually. You follow evolution. So what's happening in the world?
Certain things are done step by step.
Mechanical things.
Yes. This is what the world is.
I mean, that's exactly League of Nations first. What's happening. So when I reject the whole principle of analysis, I reject the structure of time, structure of the moral, gradually becoming more and more moral, more and more kind, and therefore loving my neighbor. No, also all that's implied. Tolerance is implied in that. When I reject all that, I'm out. Which doesn't mean I become immoral or stupid. I don't accept the morality of this. So let's come back. So I'm learning now, I see to learn about, for the mind to learn about itself, analysis is not the way, right? Can I say that with truth in my heart, analysis is not the way? Then if it is not, then what is left? I thought I was going north, and I find I've been going south, right? And finding myself going south, I turn. The moment I turn, I'm going north. I don't know. The turning is important, not going north or south. There is action, that's all.
It's the same as jumping away from the precipice.
That's just it.
You won't jump unless you really see it as a precipice.
Obviously.
As long as you think you're still going north, you won't have a chance.
That's it. Blind man will say, well, where is the precipice? And jump.
Which precipice? Which place?
Better stop there, shall we? Tomorrow at 11. Do you want to go through the pain of this again?
Yes.